Digital modes. Okay, questions. Which of the following can cause radio frequency interference?
Delta.
Delta.
All of the above.
Where should the negative return of a mobile transceiver be connected in a vehicle? The negative on a mobile transceiver. It's a 12-volt battery chassis ground. Why are short, heavy gauge wires used for a transceiver's DC power connection? I don't think we actually said why.
Yeah, well, voltage drop was mentioned.
To provide a good counterpoise for the antenna, or to avoid RF interference, or to minimize voltage drop, or all of those.
All of the above.
To minimize voltage drop. Short, heavy gauge wires, so distance and the size is what determines voltage drop. You're not going to get a counterpoise from that short, heavy gauge wire. Which of the following conductors is preferred for bonding at RF?
D. Alpha.
Ooh, they're tricky. They got some sneaky ones up there. Of those, Delta is going to be your preferred. Copper braid removed from coax cable isn't going to be. Yeah, copper braid. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Removed from coax. Yeah. No.
Steel wire.
Steel wire, no. Twisted pair cable, no. Flat copper strap is preferred of those. Which of the following might be useful in reducing RF interference to audio frequency circuits? Wow, bypass capacitor. What process combines two signals in a nonlinear circuit to provide unwanted, spurious outputs?
Bravo.
Bravo
Alpha.
and alpha. Oh, we got the table split. Is that like a circuit split? Now the Supreme Court has to decide.
Yeah.
You guys want another chance, either one of you? Any of you?
Go ahead.
Sticking with alpha?
Bravo.
Oh, Bravo, I mean?
Yeah.
Sticking with alpha? It is alpha. Heterodyning is what we want to do. That's what we're mixing
That
them
grinding
up.
is the intentional mixing of the.
Yeah. But we want to do, intermodulation is the problem.
Yeah.
Intermodulation produces babies with no those.
Which of the following is an odd order intermodulation product of frequencies F1 and F2?
Charlie.
It is Charlie, and I have no idea why they wrote it that way.
Nor do I. I'm gonna look that one up just because I'm curious.
It's just freaking weird.
It means mathematically it's 2 times frequency 1 minus frequency 2.
Correct.
But there's 4 outputs.
That's the thing, there's 4 outputs.
Right.
F1, there's F2,
Yeah.
and there's that.
I remember reading about this.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I'm like,
They're
Yeah.
saying it's the odd order, so it's.
yeah.
This goes back to the old farts in the VEC.
Yeah.
You know.
Send
I
it
know,
back,
yeah.
tell them to rewrite it.
Well, it may be perfectly right. It's just a weird way of asking
It is.
to see if you know the information. Which of the following could be a cause of interference covering a wide range of frequencies?
Charlie.
Me too.
Charlie.
Okay, 3 Charlies. Do we have anything else?
No, that'll do it.
Absolutely, it'll do it.
That'll do
Well, we
it.
have 4 people though. Oh, yeah. We got the quiet one. Going with the consensus? Charlie, just remember that spark plug.
And anytime you're dealing with a spark transmission system, it's going to have messy all over it.
It's ugly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what sound is heard from an audio device experiencing RF interference from a single sideband phone transmitter? Audio device experiencing RF interference from a single sideband phone transmitter.
Charlie.
Charlie, distorted speech? It is Charlie.
I wrote my wife's head.
What sound is heard from an audio device experiencing RF interference from a CW transmitter?
Alpha.
Alpha.
Alpha. On and off. CW.
Plumbing.
Which of the following is an appropriate power supply rating for a typical 50-watt output mobile FM transceiver?
Delta.
50 watts, 12 amps. How can you determine the length of time that equipment can be powered from a battery?
Bravo.
We got 1 Bravo.
Bravo.
Okay, so I did not confuse you about talking about the watts. Because amp hour and current is amps. Okay, it is Bravo, you are correct. So I'm glad I didn't confuse you with get the watts and the watts down here to get you to pull the wrong one. But you do want to do it in watts. That's the better way. What would cause a broadcast AM or FM radio to receive an amateur radio transmission unintentionally? So the AM or FM radio is receiving your transmission unintentionally. Why? Audio amplifier of the transmitter is overloaded.
Alpha.
Ooh, we got Charlie and an Alpha now. We got split. Reread them.
Oh, because it's receiving the signal.
So we're going with Alpha now? Okay, can we throw out B? Can
First.
we throw out B? Microphone gain. It's turned up too high? Yeah. Probably turn that one out, right? The deviation of an FM transmitter is set too low. Well, let's see, what are we transmitting on? Amateur radio, it doesn't say. But you don't set the deviation, do you? So it's probably not D. So the audio amplifier of the transmitter, or the receiver is unable to reject it. And we're going with
Alpha.
Alpha. All right, it is Alpha. The receiver is able to reject strong signals outside of the band that it's looking for. It's picking up a strong signal outside of the band.
And that falls under good engineering.
And that's poorly engineered because it was bought on Amazon for $9.95. Which of the following could you use to cure distorted audio caused by RF current on the shield of a microphone cable?
Delta.
A ferrite choke. Distorted audio caused by RF current on the shield of a microphone cable. That's good. It's a cable, right? What do you put on a cable? A ferrite choke. Which function is performed with a transceiver and a digital mode hotspot? Transceiver and a digital mode hotspot. Alpha. How can fundamental overload of a non-amateur radio or TV receiver by an amateur signal be reduced or eliminated?
A bomb.
Okay, the lawful and socially acceptable means.
A diplomatic approach.
So, how can fundamental overload of non-amateur radio or TV receiver by an amateur signal be reduced or eliminated?
Alpha.
Block the amateur signal with a filter at the antenna input of the affected receiver. Is that what we think? You know, we start reading that. Block the amateur signal. No! Wait, at the receiver.
Yeah.
It is alpha. Which of the following actions should you take if a neighbor tells you that you... Okay, the correct answer is not up there, is it, guys? They ever tell you that your station's transmissions are interfering with their radio or TV reception?
I got my neighbor to buy a new TV.
Did ya?
Yeah. Cool. Older, hers was old and a piece of shit.
Another option is to have a stack of U-Haul business cards in your door. Right.
Yeah. Alpha.
But what's the answer they want here? Alpha, you think? Make sure your station is functioning properly and it does not cause interference to your own radio or television when it's tuned to the same channel.
As long as you took care of yours,
It's
oh
all
well.
Well, not only that, by having your station, your TV automatically reject that, you are proving the well-engineered system works correctly.
Right.
You are not putting out something that can't be done.
Okay, which of the following can reduce overload of a VHF transceiver by a nearby commercial FM station? Let's see, reduce overload of your transceiver by a nearby commercial FM.
Delta.
Listen,
Installing a band reject filter. What should you do if something in a neighbor's home is causing harmful interference to your amateur station?
Delta.
Delta, all of them. Let's see, work with your neighbor to identify the offending device. Politely inform them that rules prohibit the use of devices that cause interference, and make sure your station's... Okay, so the first thing you do is this one. That's the first thing. Then you know you're on solid ground, and then you do all of the above.
yeah.
What should be the first step to resolve non-fiber optic cable TV interference caused by your amateur radio?
Why is that up there?
Because it's on the question board.
I know, but non-fiber optic.
They're trying to make you think.
Delta.
Be sure all TV feed line coaxial connectors are installed properly.
Correct.
Now, what if it's optic? What if it's fiber optic?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is. But it doesn't come all the way to your TV.
No,
It goes to the modem thing, or
yeah,
the
it goes
receiver
to
thing.
that, yeah, it's
And
called.
from there, it's wire. So, yeah, I've got fiber optic comes all the way into the house, and then there's a jack, and then the cable coming out of the jack to my modem is fiber optic. And I'm like, wow. So the only thing that's not fiber optic is the Wi-Fi. What is the possible cause of high voltages that produce RF burns?
There's a few good ones.
Yes, there are.
Okay, well, let's go through them. What do you think of A? Possible or not? What's the best conductor we can have? Is the flat braid.
Yes.
Flat grid.
So S just doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
Okay, B. What do you think? Is that gonna make a difference or not?
As long as it's getting it out of it.
Well, it depends on where it's hooked up.
Well, is it in, it says insulated wire, did they insulate it at the connection?
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't
So,
do it.
probably a stupid answer. Okay.
Bare wire.
C, the ground rod is resonant? The ground rod, okay, pay attention to the word. The ground rod is resonant?
I would say that shouldn't.
So what is impedance measured in, guys? What is impedance measured in? Right, and ohms are what?
Resistance.
Right.
So you're talking delta, is that it?
You tell me.
That's all it's.
Process of elimination kind of has to be, right?
I guess if it's just stopping it in there and it's just producing heat, it's not pushing.
Well, it's not gonna produce a heat burn.
The ultimate.
It's an
goal-
RF burn.
Yeah, the ultimate thing here is that ground wire with a high impedance means there's a higher, the voltage is not being drained off when it should.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting at here, is that voltage is still up here somewhere, and it's supposed to be a ground.
Okay.
And it's RF,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so D is correct. What is the possible effect of a resonant ground connection? So now it is resonant.
The possible effect.
Uh-huh.
Charlie.
So use your imagination.
Okay, if it's resonant, that means the energy's getting out, right?
Right.
If the energy's getting out, is it gonna overheat the ground straps if the energy's getting out? No.
No.
Corrosion of the ground rod because it's resonant? No. High RF voltages on the enclosures of station equipment because you have a resonant RF signal coming out and it's going, ooh, there's a metal enclosure, let's hit that, get some juice on it. Okay. Ground loop is actually a thing, but
Yeah.
it's not this thing. What technique helps to minimize RF hotspots in an amateur station?
Charlie.
Bonding them all together. Which of the following will reduce RF interference caused by common mode current on an audio cable?
Alpha.
Yes.
Bravo can be interchanging
I was gonna say, you sure it's not Bravo?
a bit. Most laughing.
Uh-huh.
How about Charlie? Shall we grab the center conductor?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It's an audio.
That would eliminate the.
That would eliminate it, yes.
Well, it's an audio cable, so there isn't a center conductor. That's coax. I guess it could be.
It could be.
Adding
But
an
that would-
additional insulated
that would do away
jacket.
with it.
So it is the ferrite choke.
Yeah.
How does ferrite beater core reduce common mode RF current on the steel of the coax cable?
Alpha.
Creating an impedance in the current's path. Agreed?
Yep.
It is out. How can the effects of ground loops be minimized? Don't get in an airplane with a tail wheel. Oh, you've cut down.
Easy,
Okay. Process of elimination.
Delta.
Can we?
yeah.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Just took you that long to read
They're
them.
taking their time.
That's
to read the
okay.
box. That's good news.
That's okay. Now, what could be a symptom of a ground loop somewhere in your station?
Alpha.
Did you read them all? Okay, sure. I didn't think so.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Alpha is correct.
because I had,
Which of the following direct
Yes, you
fused
did.
power connections would be the best for a 100 watt HF mobile installation? Direct fused power connections, which of the following is the best? The best.
Charlie?
I really like C.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, watch you, it was confused.
Yeah. Alpha.
Alpha. Balanced transmission?
yeah, that's a good one.
Why should DC power for a 100 watt HF transceiver not be supplied by a vehicle's auxiliary power use socket?
And if a flood had wings, he wouldn't fall in the flood.
Yep.
Bravo.
I heard Bravo. Anybody disagree? Bravo. Which of the following most limits in HF mobile installation?
Charlie.
Charlie. It is Charlie. Which of the following may cause receive interference to an HF transceiver installed in a vehicle?
Yep. Maybe in the operative word, but there's.
Delta.
Yeah.
Wiggle word.
You know, any of us may cause it.
Yeah. Modern car, they're not gonna,
Yeah.
but they could. Which of the following is an advantage of a digital signal processing filter, DSP, filter compared to an analog filter? What's the advantage of digital signal processing filters compared to analog filters? This was from last week.
Alpha.
Agreed? Alpha, wide range of filter bandwidths and shapes.
Just said-
Questions?
No questions.
Next week.